funny. I'm so excited right now. It's funny as I'm sitting here, and it's a really, really, really interesting time. So,
hey guys,
this is by shot much. So it's funny. Like we're starting the building process of Fred. Well, let me go through. I don't think we have. We do have announcements. What are the announcements? I have to remember what the announcements are. I don't remember what the announcements are.
Update your U4.
Update your U4. That's always a very, very good. That's what we wanted to do. Yeah, so we'll get into the carne asada contest. Obviously, we've got that. So that was exactly what the announcement was. But so this morning is going to be good. I'm gonna ask all of you, or most of you guys, or all of you, to talk about something, because we're in a really interesting space. I have like a nervous energy that I haven't had in a really long time, because we're growing. And so, have you guys noticed that the last 2 weeks, like AA'z night, there's a different feel in the room over the last couple weeks than you felt, right? And it's funny, right? Because 2 weeks ago we had AA'z night and it was exciting, and then we walked into Saturday and it was a little flat, a little small. And then and so I got a little nervous, right? Because I'm like, okay, how's AA'z night? And then we walked into AA'z night, and AA'z night was actually, we had less people, we had 2 less people this Wednesday, but the energy was higher than before. And I'm like, okay, I know what this feels like. And then walk in this morning, and it's, I wouldn't say it's flat, but we're not, it's not the same feeling this morning that was on Wednesday night, right or wrong. And there's a part of me that gets nervous, and there's a part of me that goes, this is where experience is really, really important, because I've built this before. And so Saturday has a tendency of lagging about a month to a month and a half behind AA'z night. Because, right, if you think about it, how hard we push to get brand new people to Wednesday, right? We want to grow, we got recognition, they're saying it's going, we want them to see the business. And then a lot of times people will come, and Saturday mornings are a little bit challenging sometimes. People have to work, or they've got situations with their kids, or it's early in the morning and they went out and got, hammered the night before, or any myriad of reasons why Saturday morning at 7 o'clock comes a little bit sooner in people's lives. And so it takes a little bit sometimes of momentum to start getting the Saturday attendance up and running. Does that make sense? But it feels this way. So I walked in this morning and I'm like, okay, let's see. And I was kind of walking and I'm like, it's really exciting. So this is one of those, look into my eyes, right? You're going to see the land. Like we're just going to keep growing Wednesday. We've got more people invited this Wednesday than we've had for the entire year. Like I really think we're going to scare 20 this Wednesday, right? And we're going to get people back on Saturday, and then we're going to scare 20 again to 22, and then sooner or later there's going to be this critical mass component where some of the folks that start coming start rearranging their schedule, and then things start moving. So I'm excited. So just do me a favor. Don't look around this morning and be like, oh God, are we not growing? We absolutely are growing. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, the business is absolutely growing, right? I know the people that we're each working with. So, y'all excited? So, a couple things I wanted to do before we got started. Mr. Bear, could you come here for a second? We had a very, very fun appointment. And so I wanted you to be able to share kind of what's going on and what you learned. She had no idea she was having this conversation. But here's one of the things that we're going to do. Everyone's like, oh, you never told me. I'm telling you now. You're speaking every Saturday. You're not, but come prepared like you are. Come prepared. If Sears asked me to talk about my week, what would I say? Right? You're driving up, right? You're in the shower. Put your talk together every Saturday. Why? Well, when you leave this meeting, right, you're going to run in, you're going to see Brian, you're going to see Josh, right? They're going to be at work, or you're talking the next couple days. You're going to see Anna. How many of you have people in your life that ask this question, right? You're going to see Melissa. Is she going to ask this question? How did the meeting go?
Yes.
They're going to ask that question.
Yes.
If you don't know what to say, here's what most of the time, what do we say?
Oh, that was good.
It was good. Does that paint a picture for the people that aren't here? No. Does that make them feel like they missed something? Not in a, you suck, you missed something, but in a, oh my God, I want to rearrange my schedule to make myself available because it sounds like some cool things are happening moment. Does that make sense? So, oh, it was good, although it's a correct answer, might not build what you want, but it's a skill to be able to articulate that. Does that make sense? So if you get prepared coming up to the meeting, and then you get prepared after, because you know Anna's going to ask how the meeting go, right? You know Kristen's going to ask how the meeting go. If you can say, oh my gosh, this, and you can run a little scouting report, now all of a sudden you can get good at explaining it and create the experience. Does that make sense? So everyone in the room is always speaking. Every Saturday, be prepared. Deal?
Okay, what, you want me to explain what?
Yeah, talk about the appointment.
Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is, I don't know if you ladies and gentlemen remember that I said that at church they approached me about, coming to. So yeah, it started happening. That was my first appointment when I came back from Atlanta. And the pastor was very excited to meet. They were there on time, even before us almost. And we were sitting down with them, and Brett came and he did the explanation and the kitty and everything. And they were still asking me questions after Brett left. And I said, you know what? I can't answer most of your questions, but we're going to sit together again and we're going to share all of that. Please write it down because I don't want to tell you the wrong information. I'm being trained right now, and I don't want to give you false information. And the pastor said, yeah, okay. So he started asking me, are they going to take blood? Are they going to do the health exam? Are they going to do all of that stuff? What kind of insurance are you selling? And I said, I don't want to look like a salesperson. That's just one thing I learned here. You don't want to look like that. You just want to, I say, we're going to meet to bring you information that is so vital for everybody. And I don't want you to miss it. Especially because we have a goal, we have a purpose in this earth, like you taught me, like a pastor. And this is what God put in front of me. So I'm starting with you. So it's obviously that it's God's will, And he said, well, yeah, I feel comfortable, and I trust you, and I know who you are, and I know you for many, many years, and yeah, I want to hear what it's all about. So yeah, we sit down, and he signs up for protection and college savings for his little son, and I saw on both of their face, like their mind was going 100 miles an hour. I saw that. And they started telling me that, oh, I know this person. You should see this person. My niece needs this. I heard somebody talk about something like this. The church is officially asking all of the pastors to have a protection with us. And when you left on Thursday, the last you said, I'm leaving, and then somebody said a couple of minutes. He said that, he says, I think this is the best way I ever heard. Even though I think he had Primerica before, about maybe 15 years ago, 20 years ago. He says, it sounds familiar, but this time I feel more comfortable. Because I know that, Brett told him that, that I had a good heart, that I was willing to do this, and to refer anybody that was interested in making money and sitting down with us. And he says, yeah. So when he left, the pastor says, you know what? You have a tremendous thing in your hand. It's a big blessing, so you need to hold on and make it shine. And I said, well, thank you. I says, I'm going to get you some numbers because I know a lot of families around my family area, my immediate family, they're struggling with this. And he himself is doing it too. He's in it, totally in it. He's a business owner and he doesn't know what to do. And they're very quiet. And I said, you know what? I like to hear from you when I sit down to ask questions. I like questions, even though I'm not have the answer, but I like because I learn from people's question. A question is an interest. You're interested in knowing more. And yeah, we invited them and they ended up signing it. You know. Before I went to bed, he called me and he said, he asked me a question and I go, okay, well, I'm gonna call Fred, and I think they communicated, I don't know until now, but he was supposed to, you know, call each other before the same night because there was a little information that was missing. And yeah, that's happening in my life, and I'm very excited. I come home and I tell my husband, and I go, when are you gonna get protected? And he said, well, not right now. And I go, you can't think. You cannot make up your mind or decide or maybe. No, you gotta do it now. And we're planning to do it. I'm gonna be his client this week. Yeah,
Awesome.
that's my.
So it's telling you no. So that was I'm now I got a million things going on. I'm so excited. So but it's funny. So full disclosure Saturday, right? So there was a second announcement and I totally forgot, but we're getting prepared. So I love, like, I'm so excited. Okay, so back in the day, 1,000 years ago, right? So what would happen in the AA'z night or the OP night, because it was opportunity night versus AA'z night, Allies, Advocates, Associates night, and at the end of the meeting, right now we do recognition, right? We celebrate the impact, stuff like that. At the end of the meeting, we give away a little hot tamales. And what would happen is if you helped a family, if you wrote life insurance, right, for a minimum of $40, right, then we give you a little box of hot tamales. Now, when there's 150 people in a room and there's 20 people up at the front of the room at the end of the meeting, like, you want to be up here because you want your people. So there's this competitiveness and all this other stuff. And I'm like, well, we need to do something like that, but we need to access it, right? We're not going to say in line, we got to access it. So we don't want to do this, and we don't have enough people doing enough stuff on op night or AA'z night to be able to celebrate it. Because what we don't want to do is have 12 people in a room and have one person help a family a week. Like, that's not, like, we all understand that we're building momentum, but we don't want our brand new people to realize it. Does that make sense? So we need a little bit more mass movement. Y'all excited? Or am I like all over the place? Like, you're all looking at me like okay, it's like frenetic right now. But but I'm like, how are we gonna do this with it? I've been struggling, going through, and I got it. So excited. So we're gonna start it on Saturday. So we'll start it actually today, but we don't. It's not quite started yet. But that's all right. And you know what? Because it's special. I do. You got it.
Out of the 5 appointments I had.
So here's what's gonna happen, right? And so we're gonna figure out what we're gonna do and stuff like that. But instead of, you making fun of me?
No.
Instead of,
I would say that your rate is like 4 out of 5 right now.
right? Before it was if you write a sale. But the problem is we're creating momentum and doing a different thing. And we want to do it. And so no. Now on Saturday mornings, we're gonna have an Access Impact Award. Okay? An Access Impact Award. And anyone can qualify. But what it is you do 2 things in the house. So in order to qualify, now what's going to happen is when we get 4, 5, 6 people doing this week, we're going to shift it from recognizing it on Saturday to recognizing it on AA'z night. Right? But we need to build some momentum to be able to recognize it on AA'z night publicly. What does that mean? That means that we need to do a life sale, plus a securities, or plus an auto and home, or plus a prepaid legal. 2 things need to be done, or plus an IBA. 2 things need to be done in the same house in order to get recognized for the Impact Award. Well, let's just say David doesn't have a securities license, and he goes in and he writes a life, and they don't do the auto and home. Well, he can't actually get the recognition for helping that family until he gets Wade or Sue or me or someone else into that house to get that securities done. Now, once the securities done, he's triggered the 2 events in the house. He gets the recognition. Does that make any sense? Right? Now, I made this up on, what day did we go back? Thursday. On Thursday morning. I'm sitting with Stacey, I'm like, we got to do this. I think this will go. And we come and I'm like, here's what we're going to do. She's like, awesome. I'm at the church. It's 9:30 at night. They're tired. I'm tired, right? I've been on 6 appointments this day. I'm exhausted. Like it's a muscle to be able to have these conversations, right? I got the little laptop. I got my new little computer out. We're doing all this other stuff. Get it done. And we get a $100 commitment, roll for 70, right? And then, right, I give the $30 fund. But I'm like, but they didn't really want it, but they wanted it. Like they know they needed it, but they would have rather only paid 70. In the past, Camacho, and all disclosure, I probably would have said, look, why don't we start with the 70 tonight, and then, you know, by the end of the year, get things kind of used to it, and then we'll come in and we'll get the college fund started. I absolutely would have done that. I love what I do. I love the business. I love the clients, but it would have just been easier, and I was tired, and they were tired, and we were all like, okay, this is good. Yeah, this is full disclosure Saturday, right? Y'all understand, right? I know you would have done it all perfectly right, but I would have cut a corner. And it would have, and you know what? We probably wouldn't have gone back in December to get it done. But I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I got to do 2 things for Alvina to be able to get the impact award. Like it absolutely. The reason we got the college fund done is because I wanted to be able to give your butt a big old box of hot tamales as the very first impact team access impact award for the week. So congratulations. Come on up here. That's a big deal. So they won't be that big going forward, but this is the one. And again, full disclosure too, my kids are in Cambria, and so I'm going after this to be able to go. And when I drive, I need candy, and because my kids were up all night, and I don't drink soda anymore. So I'm like, so I grabbed a box of hot tamales because I was gonna buy them, so they have to be in my bag. So those I bought for my trip, but I'm giving them to you because full disclosure Saturday can get dangerous now. So, but really, 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 really excited about this, right? Really, really, really excited. If this would have been last week, we could also give recognition because Tony, before we came up with it, with Greaves, held the Impact Award because she did her auto and home, and she did the insurance. We're starting the savings program and stuff like that, so it's going. So if this was 2 weeks ago, we did the new, but we just made that. So it's the first one there. Like, we have to do it again to really get that done. So how's that sound? Good?
Great.
So now every Saturday, there's an opportunity for an impact conversation or an impact award. And when we get 4, 5, 6 in a week, then we get to move it to AA'z night, and it's way wicked fun on AA'z night when you've got like 8 people, 12 people on your team, and the very end of the night, we have a whole row of like there's 8 or 9 people up here with their little candies talking about the impact, the lives that they're changing, and what's going on, and then the lights go on, and now you get to walk back because then your folks are like, I want to get up there, and so it's a very fun experience to create that vibe, and that's coming. Right, but we gotta lock in and dial in on this. Make sense? Excited?
Yes.
Okay. There's 2 more announcements I cannot remember. I sat down. I'm like, oh, and I completely forgot the other 2 right now. So I'll go in a little bit. All right. Excited? So sorry, you had a question.
You answered it.
Okay. So the next person, I actually wanted my friend Mr. Wade wouldn't mind coming up here.
I was going to tell you what you were talking about.
So Wade and I had a pretty strong breakthrough, kind of a fun conversation this week that I think is an important understanding in what we're doing because we're all on different paths. So I wanted you to be able to share kind of your realization and kind of where things are at and how it generalizes. I'm sure you've been thinking about.
You're talking about the button?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but just what the shift that you've realized for you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, because we all have, guys, here's the thing. We all have different shifts, right? When we have different people come up here, the biggest challenge, like when people go to a bunch of Primerica meetings, they sit in and they listen to the person speaking and the person says, run this system, and they go back and they're like, oh my God, I have to change everything I'm doing. Alvina's shift and your shift might be different. Right. We're talking about understanding the shifts of where we are so that we can recognize where we are in a journey, right? If this is a stair-step approach, then your shift right here and your shift here might be different. We're celebrating and understanding that there's a shift in our thought processes. Does that make sense? And so Wade's at a very particular place, so I wanted you to share that shift.
Great. the first particular place I am is kind of having a clown suit on for today. I've got a lot of color going, you can see. No, so basically, I've been in the business for a while, and the biggest thing for me has always been my mental approach, which is, I think, something that's been a challenge for me for a while. Because before Primerica, in my life, basically in my business, in my legal career, what I'm good at is you put me in a situation, and whatever we need to get done, we'll get done, right? So if it's, if my client has a case or someone else has a problem or whatever, we'll fix it, right? The challenge in that, though, is that in this business, we do that, but we do that through other people, okay? So it doesn't do us any good for us to go in and fix everything ourselves. It actually hurts us, and the reason is because take Elvira, for instance, your appointment, right? If they would have said, here's all of our problems, here are the issues that we have, and if you just would have gone in there, and if you just would have written up a plan for them, said, okay, just sign here because they know you, but they didn't know what it was, but you did everything, then a couple things are going to happen. One, they're going to view you as a salesperson forever. Two, that may charge back later because they're going to not understand what it is. But three is they're not excited then about what's happening. You know what I mean? So the thing is that it's hard to get people excited about what you're doing if you're doing it all yourself, because they can't be included in that way. How is someone else supposed to participate if you sit down with them and you say, think of it like if you got drafted into the NFL, right? They're like, oh, I got drafted to go play for the Broncos. How awesome is that? I'm so excited. I'm going to training camp in the fall or whatever. And that person can be excited for you, right? But that person will never feel like they're going to be able to do anything other than support your journey. They can't be part of your journey because they feel like they can't go play NFL football if they can or if they can't, right? It doesn't matter if they can or they can't. They're never going to because you're not giving them a space for that. So the biggest, shift that I had and realization that I had is that two realizations. One is that we have to find, or I have to find, a way to make everyone else a part of this journey, give them a space for it so that they can participate and want to participate, not just to support me, but because, that there's a space for them. Almost like instead of saying, well, I got drafted in the NFL, I'm starting a league, like I'm starting an over 40 league where anybody can play and we're just playing for fun, you know what I'm saying? That everyone feels like they can participate in that because it's not difficult, it's not hard, it's something that sounds like it would be fun, and everyone wants to experience winning again, right? So I could be presenting the same thing, I could still have NFL caliber athletes in my over 40 league, right? But they wouldn't participate in the NFL league versus they would even in the over 40 league. Does that make sense? Just because of the way that I present it. Basically what I'm trying to say is this, is that I just simply realized that I have to make a space for everyone else, and I have to make sure they understand that they can have a space as big as mine or bigger than mine in what I'm doing. Because if I just try to do everything myself, that's not going to work. And then the second realization I had with regards, I was talking to Brett on the phone about it, was that I'm kind of walking, we all have our lives kind of together, how we like them. Do we know why we know that? Because that's how we have them. So if you have a problem at work, you know who you have to call, right? If I was to come to you, David, and say, hey man, listen, you should talk to me about problems you have at work. You should be like, well, no, why would I do that? I have people I can already talk to about that. That's kind of in the same vein as where we have to make sure that people understand that there is an access problem and that there's a space in that access problem for them and that we are working in that space versus I'll fix whatever issue that you have and you don't need to worry about it. Does that make sense? So it's a subtle thing. Maybe it's only my bugaboo. Maybe I'm the only person that does it because everyone's looking at me like I have no idea what you're talking about. But it's important for me because basically is that I'm really excited that I don't have to. It's going to be really fun putting other people in a position to succeed and put other people in a position to get to where they need to go and where we need to go. Because then I don't have to, even though I'm really, really, really good at it, I don't have to do that anymore. I get to put that down. So I'm really excited about that. Thoughts?
Because I have a question. How many of you, right? And so, hey, full disclosure Saturday. Okay, this is important. How many of you have a sense of wanting to walk into a room of any size of smart, sophisticated, successful people and have them go, that's him or that's her, that's the one that created. Any of you have that sense where you want to walk into a room and have people you respect who know what you've done and have them go, she's different, she's special? How many of you like that sense and that feeling? Okay, so that's right, so we all have it. So the question is, and this is the shift, between building for the exception at the expense of everyone else and a place for everyone to enroll for all of us. How do you do it? What has to occur in your mind to get that feeling? Because if it's important to us, right, and all of us shook our heads and all of us raised our hands and all of us said yes, and it's going to be at varying degrees. Some people would like it. Some people need it like oxygen, right, where there's no right or wrong, right? But the question becomes, how do you get it? What do you need to do to be that person, right? There are some folks that need a gigantic base shop. They need to make $1 million. So they walk into Primerica, they make $1 million, right? And they're their guy, and it's experience, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. If you make $1 million in Primerica, are they going to walk in, or are you going to walk in and they're going to say, that's him, or that's her, that's the one, right? So that's an easy thing to do. But it's interesting because the way we're going to do it, the way Access is set up, if I'm the biggest thing we got, we did it right. We built a business of it that says a place for everyone and a role for all of us, right? Work from our spare time all the way up. This really is about growth and developing other people. If you're known for being a kingmaker, is how I think about it, right? If everyone in your life, if you've got 200 people, 500 people in your life that understand and support what you're doing, and they know that you help a bunch of people make a bunch of money, that's a very particular mindset, isn't it? And so if you know people, if people know you as someone who makes a bunch of money and helps a bunch of people, when they think about the type of people to introduce you to, it's going to be people that are in alignment with them, right? It's going to be people who want to make a bunch of money or want to make an impact, right? Because they're going to get their connection. I have a question. If you're known as somebody who teaches people how to make $50,000 a month or $50,000 a year part-time or $150,000 full-time, or the ability to make, if you're known as the person, if everyone in your life knows that you've been responsible for being a part of helping 150 people make $80,000 or plus started part-time, and you become known as the type of person who can identify somebody and teach them how to grow a business from scratch, is that a different mindset than someone who makes a bunch of money and helps a bunch of people? Does this make sense? This is important because where you get your validation is going to determine how you act, how you behave, what you prioritize. And a lot of times we don't even make the decision consciously. We think it's a certain way. Look, for us to be successful, I want hundreds, I want 1,000 gaps. I want 1,000 people making at least $50 a month in passive income with their Series 65 license and $150,000 that don't even come to a meeting. Why? Because I know if I got 1,000 gaps, we probably have 5,000 part-timers. And we probably have 2,000 part-timers that are trying to get full-time and 1,000 full-timers. And we probably have 150 full entrepreneurs that are making 150,000. Like, you understand how we do this. And so, David, that'll determine the types of choices. That's what Wade was talking about. The question is Wade the star, is Wade the facilitator? What the connection that he's realized is that he already knows lots and lots and lots of paths. He now gets to find people that don't have the skill, the training, the background, or the inclination to do a lot of things that he knows how to do, and say, man, I can teach you this stuff. You don't have to know it if you know me. And so he gets to take his experience, his expertise, and his worldview and find great people that want to do something different with his life and share his experiences and expertise to navigate through, to give them the ability to leverage his skills. Versus Wade being the guy. Does that make sense? That's a shift. It's a very, very fun shift. Look, I was the star of my old business. right? That's what Primerica is for, like, right? You get in, you get a bunch of meetings, you get the biggest guys in the room, and you get them on stage, and they tell you how good they are, and how smart they are, and how hard they worked, and how successful they are, and how successful their people are. But their people are successful because of them. Versus, look, that's not what this is. This is about, look, my job's to be a facilitator. If we've got the tools, resources, and education, we've got what it takes to help you and Josh and Brian and get your folks successful, and we run them through the system. Man, if you fall in love with that system and you develop it and you're really good at facilitating it, they're going to learn and grow. Yes?
I was just thinking, isn't a really good way to describe it is that in basketball, it's being the point guard versus being a shooting guard, but a pure point guard.
A real point guard.
Yeah.
A Chris Paul, not an Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Right? Someone who, right? Absolutely. Magic Johnson, Stockton. Like, that's what, because they make LeBron, makes every team better. Which is different than being the Black Mamba. It's different than being Kobe that says, hey, I'm going to shoot 50, I'm going to take 40 shots because my guys aren't good. Well, one of the reasons they're not good is because you take 40 shots. Now, there might be some times that you got to perform. But, so, yeah, does that make sense? Yeah. Yes, it was. Very good enough. I know, don't hurt yourself.
Great analogy. None for myself in terms of the shift. I'm still struggling with the shift, but thinking about it, it's the difference between,
Yeah, a great point guard makes everybody else look good.
Yep.
But can still, if it needs to take over the game or whatever in certain times, if the team's down, he knows they're not making shots, he can still then he take shots.
Yep. So that's you guys, and so two things are, my goal for these conversations is two things. One, for you to realize this particular shift, but also for you to recognize two things. One, you might not struggle with where and struggle is not the right word, but you might not be confronted with the shift that Wade's confronted you with right now for one of two reasons. Either you're starting and you have no idea what the hell he's talking about, or you cleared that shift a long time ago. It doesn't matter. Two things. One, we want a safe place where growth is accepted and encouraged, where it's okay that we find a hurdle and then we shift through it and we celebrate that, because even if you don't have that hurdle, if you learn how to clear hurdles, when you recognize yours, it's a safe place to be able to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Versus, no? Because most of the time in life, we're supposed to protect our weaknesses, right? Because we don't want anyone to see. But really? Then this is just because this is for me. Have you ever gotten in a conversation with someone and they don't think you see their weaknesses and they're so big you can't see anything but them, but they're convinced that you can? You ever had? We're all that way. Every one of us have glaring weaknesses that anyone who spends any time with us knows of. So ask ourselves, why would we take any time trying to lie to ourselves? Because that's the only person we're lying to, that they're not real. The only person, we're not lying to the other person because they see that. We're lying to ourselves that they can't see that. So, really, 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 really excited about that. Y'all fired up? Y'all having fun? So, so one of the things I wanted to be able to kind of chit chat about is the power of this carne asada contest and why we're doing this, right? So in the month of August, and this is, right, we're going to do it in August, we're going to do it in September, we're going to do it in October, this is one of the single most important tools we will use. Okay, so what it is, and we're trying to figure out if we're going to do it Saturday nights or Sundays, and we might do one Saturday, one Sunday, back and forth. We might do one no kids, one with kids, so we'll rotate kind of through all of these different things, right? Because the Saturday night one with no kids we'll have, Mexican trained Domino's and margaritas, and the one on Sunday we'll have, like, barbecues and maybe a jumper, right? So we'll figure out a little bit. We don't want the jumper on Saturday night with the Mexican trained Domino's, right? That's a totally different group, right?
That could be very
Yeah. Okay. So here's how this works. Okay, one, for new, and I want to make sure that you're all clear not only on the qualifications, but the reasons behind the qualifications, right? And it's so funny to me every time I do this, because in my old business, like, if anyone asked the reason behind the qualifications, they weren't coachable, right? It was like, yeah, you just need to know everything, right? Versus, no, I want to run a business. Let me understand not just what I need to do, but being that I'm going to run a business, let me understand why we're doing what we're doing, because I can generalize that to lots and lots of other things. So, new associates can qualify if they finish their hours and quizzes or their classes, okay? Or they pass their life exam, okay? Associates can qualify when they make $500 or they pass their 6 or their 63 or their 65 or their 26. Okay, so want us to see, want you to see how this is designed to look. So Josh, David, I want you thinking about this. Josh turns in his IBA, let's say tomorrow. Tomorrow's the 8th, right? He starts his hours and quizzes. Josh finishes hours and quizzes in August as a goal. Now, he doesn't have to, but if he finishes hours and quizzes in August, then in the September, let's call it September 3rd, right? It's the Labor Day weekend. Let's say we do it that Saturday night. I think it's the 3rd or 2nd, right? So we do the carne asada that night. Y'all with me? So here's Josh. Then in September, Josh is going to take his test, isn't he? Josh passes his test. October 3rd, Josh is there again. Now, after he's taken his test and he gets licensed, he's going to go see his top 10, isn't he? When he goes, he sees his top 10, he's going to make $500 minimum. He's there in November. Does this make sense? So here's what happens is a brand new person goes to a carne asada 3 months in a row. Why is that important?
He's moving up the lineup.
Okay, so he's growing, which is good. But why is it a powerful thing that he's there 3 months in a row? Okay, for what?
For the new associates.
Okay, so the new associate. So we show a path for new associates on what to follow, which is very, very valuable. Why so?
He gets to talk about to his team.
Okay, so he's going to talk about to his team. He's building his habit, his creative, and his track record. I have a question. So this is August, this is September, this is October. So what's he going to want to do in November? He's going to want to go, right?
And bring his team.
Well, two things. He's going to want to bring his team along with him, but he's going to want to go. So now all of a sudden, the goal of this is to create a space and a habit where someone's so used to it that we have the conversation that says, okay, all you have to do is your hours and quizzes, which you could do without major taxing. You had to study your test without major taxing. And I did the bulk of the work, or your upline did the bulk of the work to be able to make money, so it wasn't taxing. So now all of a sudden, we want there to be this, oh shit moment. Why? Because we want them turning to their lineup. We want them developing their market. We want them cultivating that on purpose, don't we? Well, what's the major reason why we need to develop our market on purpose? So that we can grow. Well, yes, we need to grow, but a lot of us get used to growth or not growth. But if we're going to, if we experience something that's fun and then we don't experience it, there's pain associated with it. It's not life-altering pain, but it's pain. Does that make sense? And so he can pass his 6, make 500, wherever it goes, there's a path, and they're all celebrated. This isn't about, oh, you got here by passing your 6. No, we're creating the best part-time opportunity in the history of the world. This is really, really, really important. There are going to be 2 groups of people. There are going to be new associates. Everybody in our organization who's not a vice president that's at this event in September is part-time. Every one of them. So let's just say, Avita, right? You're going to make $500 plus. You're already at $200. We're going to help your husband, right? You're going to make $500 by the end of the week, right? So that's going to be done and dialed in. So you're going to be done, right? Tony's going to be, right? He's already got a family in. He's got 2 auto homes, I think, that are done, right? He's going to be at $500 by the end of the week, right? So there's 2 folks that are there, right? Wade's got a couple appointments. David's got a couple appointments. Cindy's got a couple appointments. Richard's got a couple appointments. Yubi's got a couple appointments. Damon's got a couple appointments. If we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in the Bay shop that are that, let's say Sue's got one that's able to do it. Let's say that Zamora's got one that's able to do it. If we've got 10 part-timers that in the month of August are making $500 plus part-time. Go with me? And then we've got, obviously, Wendy, Emma, Grace, your mom, Irene, let's say Josh, let's say Adriana, let's say Ernie, let's say Shaq and Melissa. Like, let's say we've got 20 people that either finish their hours or pass their exam that are in the room. What are these people talking to these people about? If we do this right, how great it is to be part-time, the ability to go through what they do with their job, how they're leveraging. All of y'all are talking about how are you leveraging your job as your cover fire to be able to learn how to build a business, because we want this group of people to go, oh my God, well, look at all these people that are making $500 a month part-time. Does this make sense? If month after month, if we've got 8, 10, 12, 20 people making $500, $800, $1,000 a month part-time, how much easier is it for Wendy to start going, shoot, man, I know people who need to make $500, and there's people from, right, David to Wade, like, there's people from all sorts of backgrounds that are doing, man, we can make, the belief that this group of people can make $500 skyrockets when this group does it on purpose consistently without ever having to teach it. Does that make sense? So then as they go back, now think about it. So now they go because they finish their hours, and then they go because they pass their test, and then they go because they're one of the $500. Now we go 8, 9, 10, 12, 15, and we grow. Does this make sense? So this is the reason why this Carne Asada contest is built the way it is. Anyone, any questions at all? Now, how fun will it be with 2 or 3 of these people? I mean, I'd love all 8, but 2 or 3 of these people have the Comma Club hat on. Now, all of a sudden, they're walking around with $1,000. There's a conversation map. Does this make sense? So we've got the opportunity to grow. We've got the opportunity to be a part of this. We've got the opportunity to genuinely build this. Why are we doing the impact? Well, because we want life, auto and home, and securities written. Why? $500 to a senior rep is $1,500 in premium and 2 auto and homes. That'll pay you $575. Are you telling me that out of 30 days, 2 families and 2 auto and homes is the reason why you're not going to be spending the time with us? Is there anyone who can't do this if we run our bullpen the right way, if we develop the list that we're doing and we're moving this? Is this an overly aggressive goal? No, this is a great part-time objective. If you tell me it's the 7th or 8th of the month, and it's the 8th of the month in the next 22 days, we're not going to make sure that we help 2 families take care of this stuff, learn to tell the story, learn to have the experience, to start locking them in as allies, start creating that momentum. All right, we're going to get that done, right? It gives us an opportunity. Y'all, does this make sense? Right? So it's one thing to say, hey, we're going to run this contest. It's another thing for you to understand this is a tool to build our company. And you don't have to be, I don't have to be that good. But if we get good, right, if we get good at getting a bunch of people to make a little bit of money and grow, now all of a sudden we have a platform to do something different. Does that make sense? Y'all excited? Is this making, are y'all see on the checks? Because this is, I want you to understand one of the things that we're going to be doing. because how all of this comes together is going to be incredibly important. So I have one category that I care about. And it's the one that we are going to highlight until the cows come home. Because it's a tablet.
What? I was missing one at work yesterday. I thought he took it.
Right.
He was so interested in one. I was like, did you think? I had to look at cameras.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I understand.
Okay, so I want you to think about this. Okay, now, here's what this is. This is last month, June 2015's Teen Cash, Bay Shop Teen Cash. So to be in the top 20, let's say top 50 in California, the top 50 in California, the RVP's team, God, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, I'll do this wrong. Okay, the RVP team has to make 10 grand. I want you to understand why we're doing what we're doing, and I don't know how to do this without being offensive, so I'm going to be offensive, but my goal isn't to be offensive right now. I want to show you something as to why we're doing this and what's happening. Number 11 in the state of California, Art and Juana Martinez are very, like, $57,000 in day shop premium. 69 live sales. So, in our math, if everyone's a senior rep, which is the worst contract, and for every 2 sales, you make $500. At 69, we're talking 30 grand, right? Minimum. And that's if everyone has the worst contract in the business. Why we're doing what we're doing. Number 50. Sorry, 49. This entire big shop made $11,000. Not him, his team. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to get in the top 50 fast. Now, the difference between 50 and 25, look, in my old business, I'd show leaders bulletins and say, okay, right, we're number 25, we're going to go after who's number 20, and I don't give a crap about our base shop premium, I don't give a crap about our base shop securities, I don't give a crap about our base shop. I want you to be number 1 in the state of California at every level, and if you're number 1 or number 5, we will celebrate the hell out of it. But I'm not going to stand up here and show you what our base shop is competitively in the country. That's not my goal, except on this category. This is the only one I'll ever celebrate about us, because it's the way we run our business. You know why? Because as soon as we hit 10 grand, $10,000 of income to our base shop, then we get to go. Now think about, right, we go back to this principle here, so think about how this is working. I want you to pay attention to what we're doing. So we want to go from the top 50, which is 10,000, to the top 30, which is 15,000. How do we do it? What do we need?
More people.
How many more people?
Well, we're at 10,000, whatever, we would need half of whatever that is.
Okay, but if the goal is, what's our goal for our part-timers? What do our part-timers make?
$1,000 a month.
Carne asada.
About $500.
$500 a month. We'd love 1,000. 500, yeah, but we want
Minimum.
the minimum 500. We are a $500 a month machine. You're building a why? Because for our part-timers, look, if we could help, look, think about this. What's the goal? Every quarter, 5 to 7 people in your bullpen. That's helping 2 to 3 families a month. If you have 2 to 3 families a month, you're making the minimum of $500 out of 30 days. When you got a crazy schedule, you're going to school, you got a job, you're doing stuff. But do you think we could find one night a week? We could probably find one night a week. If that one night a week made you $800, that's a pretty good one night a week. That's not wrecking your life. That's not changing everything. That's not giving up on school. That's not quitting your job. That's making an impact and building a support system. Go with me? So if we want to go from number 50 to number 30, we need 10 more associates. 10 more licensed associates that finished their hours, came to Carne Asada. Passed their test, came to Carne Asada. Locked in their top 10, made $500, came to Carne Asada. And then the 4th month came and they're like, I want to go back to Carne Asada. Does this make sense? So we need 10. Now the cool thing is, once we get to 30, if we want to go to the top 20, we need 4, 5, 6, 8 more. Does this make sense? Now, all of a sudden, while we're seeing all these people, are we going to find some assets? Right? The couple that we saw could have very easily had $150,000 saved, right? Didn't, but could have. If they would have had it, would we have gotten it? Yeah, those assets are waiting for you. So now let's say a year from now, we've got a team that's making $17,000 or $18,000 a month on created business. But in the next year, we get 10 of these securities licensed. And each of those people have $250,000 minimum of assets under management. That's an additional $100 a month. That's an additional $1,000 before the month even starts. So now 17 becomes 18 without any new people.
So we basically just have to start thinking about it as in units of who in our business is making $500 a month. And that's what we build.
That's what we build.
And then the number of, then that is the building, that is the goal setting unit, the building block, because other things are going to spin off of that. We're going to find securities, people are going to do more than $500 a month, but our single handed life purpose is to be a point guard to help other people take enough shots to make $500.
Why? Because it's life changing. What's that?
And if you're a party animal, you're building Carne Asada.
You're building the Carne Asada, leveraging the tools you've got to be able to do that. Because if we become a machine where everyone in our life knows that if you know anyone that needs to make an extra $500 a month, we are the person to go to. We're the I don't want to call it a kingmaker on that one. We're a night maker, at $500. Why? Because lots of people, that's real money. And here's what's going to happen. It's not, guys, you understand when think about this just for a second. Camacho's at a 50% contract. If he's got 3 people in his business, guys, I want you to see is this making sense? Right? This is what, if Camacho's at a 50% contract, if he's got 3 people who make $500 a month, 3 new associates that go see their top 10, and they make $500, $500. How much money does David Camacho make?
$250 every.
They're at a 25% contract. He's at a 50. He makes $500. He makes $1,500 because he's got 3 people. A rep is at a 25% contract. A district is at a 50% contract. Josh finishes his hours, comes to Carne Asada. Passes his test, comes to Carne Asada. Sees his top 10, makes $535. Josh is on a 25% contract. David Camacho is on a 50% contract. David Camacho makes $535. He makes the exact same money that Josh made.
What is it for like a regional leader?
It's a 70% contract. He makes 1.5 times what?
So you would make $750 per 500.
Yes. So if you've got 3 people running the carne asada, and you see your 2 to 3, you make 500 on your own, and your team pays you 500 each. Now you make $2,000. Cheers. How are we going to get this right? How are we going to get this up that fast? Why are you starting at $10,000? We don't have that. We don't have 20 people making 500. We don't need 20 people making 500. We need each of us making 500 for the next 30, 60, 90 days, and let this machine go, start blowing out AA'z nights, start growing our Saturdays, and realizing that we put them through school, we get them licensed, and we get them to see their top 10. They're going to go see these people. These are people I used to write up before they got licensed, so I made the money and they didn't. So we'd see 2 or 3. They're going to make the money. We're going to see 5 and 6. And your butt overrides them.
So are you saying that if you're a regional leader and you get 28 people a month to make $500, you're making $21,000
Yes.
a month?
And if you have 28 people making $500 a month, you're an RVP.
So higher
110%.
bonus.
And bonuses. And ownership. And a stock option trade. Guys, we're here. We are going to, now watch.
Game time.
Watch, it's AA'z night. And we're in the top 10. We have a team that's making $25,000 a month. Look around, guys. We're the top 10 team in the country in California at creating income. You want to know why you're here? We're creating the greatest part-time opportunity in the history of the world. And 6 months ago, we weren't in the top 100. Now, Wade just tripped over a significant amount of cash, right? Let's say Wade gets that. That's going to pay Wade $570 a month at the beginning of every month. David tripped over a significant amount of cash. We get that. That could pay David $1,000 a month. You'll understand that a year from now, if we've got 25 to 30 securities licensed people, we could be starting the month at $25,000.
Wow. Always stay like that.
What happens when we start the month at $25,000 and we grow it? How about at the first of the month being #1 in the state of California before the month starts 18 months from now? And then when you go vice president and you go vice president, you're vice president, you're like, shit, it's Sears, it's Twiddell, it's our RVP team dominates it because your assets go with you. And when we're known as night makers, we can become king makers. You want to know the greatest slide we can? Dude, if I was Mario Arizon, this is what I'd be showing. Look around, guys. We're #1 in the state of California. We have the greatest part-time opportunity in the world. And look around. We're #1 in the state of California at helping you make your income goals a reality. This isn't about how much money I can make. Do I want to make a bunch of money? Yeah. It's not about how much money you can make. You want to make a bunch of money? Yeah. Go help 28 people make $500 a month. Every financial dream you have will come true. Is this making sense? This is what's being created.
Also, what you're doing is you're getting promoted.
Yes. So now you're making more money.
Actually, he wants to touch base on how you distribute it. Right? You're interested in becoming a distributor.
Right? So we've got that goal. Does this make sense? Right? This is what we're doing. These are the shifts that we're talking about. So what I'd like Mr. Camacho to come up. I want you to talk about the conversation with Josh, kind of what you're learning, what he's doing, and where things are. So you got some David Camacho.
So met this gentleman at work, right? He works for Best Buy. Works for Best Buy, and I was working for Samsung. So built a relationship with him for like a year, probably a year and a half, probably 9 months that he's been there. Basically, I would just talk to him a little bit about, the access and, the wealthy and, the not so wealthy, and then talk about the middle class. And I would just talk to him about it, like not telling them about it. I was like, hey man, I just came up with some stuff the other day. I was just thinking, crazy. And then he'd be like, yeah, that's crazy. And then I would leave out, right? And then I would go help a customer. He would go help a customer. So I did that for like 6 months with him. So I planted seeds on him, and it was my way of kind of like, talking to him about it and recruiting him and stuff like that. So long story short, he gets recruited by a different company to go somewhere, to go to like an AA'z night, like a typical AA'z night. He says he went and, he liked it. He saw that the picture, he saw like, man, they're helping people and I want to help people. So he came up to me the next day and he's like, hey, aren't you doing something very similar? I was like, yeah, I'm actually doing something very similar. I mean, I can show you what I'm doing and you can take your pick and see what you like. It's very similar to what Tony experienced, how he went to a different office and then came to our office. And the night that he came, he was just like, man, this is me. The environment, like it was crazy because I was watching him, like it was my first like time bringing an actual person that has never really seen it and I never really talked to him about it. I was like, I wanted to see his reaction, and he was like, man, there's a space for everyone. I felt comfortable. I felt like I could be me and I could just be creative and then just run the system. And on the way home, he was like, dude, there's a problem. The solution is there, and you guys are giving us the opportunity. And I mean, he was just saying everything that you would want somebody to say. And I was like, holy crap, this thing works. Like, to the point where it's like, it actually, people that are open and they're just ready. When they're ready, they're going to come. And when they come, and just filter them in, filter them in and let them go through this process. The gentleman's excited. Brett met up with him, so he's ready to start. He's about to start his hours. He's just excited to get started. He sees himself here. He texts me. Let me show you a text. So like, this is what he told me after Brett's meeting, because I was at work. I was at work and Brett was meeting with him. I was like, this is awesome. Like, my business is growing. He's at Jack in the Box with Brett. And I'm at work over there handling business and issues and all this crazy stuff. And Brett just texted me, oh, the meeting's over. It went awesome. Talk to him and stuff. This is what he said. I don't know if you guys can see that. Like, our meeting was great. I really feel like this is something that was meant for me to do and share. Not just the benefit, but me not to have a positive impact in those around me. Like, that was amazing. Like, to have a reaction like that from someone, it like hyped me up and empowered me up to like, oh my God, we are doing something special. I've known it. Like, you guys know we're doing something special, but then when you see it and you start developing it, it puts you in that other group. Like, okay, now I got to sharpen myself. Now I got to like really get into the group that everybody wants to do. And this carne asada thing is awesome because if he makes $500, now I know that I can make $500 too. So it's like, that's exciting. Help him make money and I make money. It's great. Pretty awesome. So I just wanted to
yeah. And I don't know if it's a typo or whatever, if it's the autocorrect, but if you notice that he said our meeting was great, like that's a sense of a team being on a team.
Right, and that's exactly what he talked about.
Like, word go. He
it
said
felt like it was
great.
Yeah, it felt like he said it felt like everybody was just being yourself. And to the other company he went to, he said all they would care about is leveraging, but it was like, oh, come meet this person. He made 10 grand this morning, and he was just like, okay, you made a lot of money, and then it was just the space wasn't there for him, and luckily he saw it. So it was good.
Good things, and this kid's got it. Like, it's really, really excited. So, because, and that's part of where we wanted to be able to do this is the more we can look. We've been driving this, and really, is today helping? Like, I really like. We're gonna do some more training and do some different things, but I really like the mental picture of what's going on. Right? Is we spend the time and right. So I'm going to go out on a limb here for a second. But when somebody's on the roster, our job is to what? Support them. Right? That's our job. Now, what's easy to see with that is to go, okay, I'm supposed to make sure that they're okay. You are. But understand, there's a balance, there's a skill to learn how to have aligned goals, right? Look, are they going to make any money until they're licensed? No, but either are you. So you have a vested interest in helping create a space for them to get their license. Are we going to get people who pass their test and never use it? Yes. But you know what we can't do? Get somebody to use a license they don't have. And so the better you get at facilitating this experience, the better and the faster you're going to grow. I'd like my friend Tony to come up here for a second, because in the last 6 months, there's literally nobody that's better. This kid's lost his freaking mind, right? In a very, very positive way, right? But you've done something. So what I'd like you to do is chit chat for the next couple minutes about how you've gotten, who on your team has their hours and quizzes done?
Emma, Wendy, my mother, and Grace.
And Grace. So you've got, that's a big, like, you guys understand, right? How many IBAs, how many people have we recruited for you? Three, yeah. We haven't actually picked up Mom's IBA yet. So all 4 of the people that you're working with have their hours done. And have had them done and got it done in a 6-week period of time, right? You've had new guests, like, how have you done that? What are you doing, right? What are you focused on? What are tools are you using? Just chit chat a little bit, because you have an energy and there's something going, but you're modeling this experience. And some of this, you might not even know what you're doing, so just don't worry about trying to just talk, because the folks in the room will clean it up. So just share, what are you doing? What are you focused on, and how are you getting them all licensed, or taking their finishing their hours?
Good morning. So one thing I realized, one important issue was starting quarter 3. So I realized that none of us got the lineup done. None of us noticed. Brett noticed that none of us finished it, and how to break that down and what it is, how it works, and what it means to us. And so that kind of took a toll on me, and that hit me. So I said, if I can lock this down, realize where my team is at, realize where I am, I can go ahead and do the support, make sure they have their crusade down, get their hours and quizzes done, so then they can become a player. And we just go from there. And what I did, I said, I need to get them together. So I kind of took the perspective of trying to be a model. So what I did, I set up every Sunday. We kind of met together in my house, all 4 of us, and get everything done and get everything going, making sure the hours and quizzes are getting done. And my goal was to get them here together. And so having that done, I guess I could say I'm becoming a pro of having that for the team, teaching them to get that momentum going as well. So that's
great.
That's right.
So one of the things, so I come here for a second. Come here, please. That was good. How important has this thing played in your business?
It's very important, actually. I think to be able to reward something that I acknowledge and get recognition it's important for all of us. It gives us momentum. It gives us drive to do the next thing. Not everybody gets recognition of doing many things, and I think that's where some don't see value to it. And it's very valuable how we can even support each other. I'm in love with that idea, and that's when the first Camacho hit it on point. When I first got here, I felt love, I felt connection, I felt huge vibe where we could just share ideas and become a great support system. Where we could just leverage each other, help each other grow our own business, rather than figuring out ourselves, and of course, isolating chaos, which many, that. And at the time, at that day, I was actually isolating in chaos. And when I left, I said, no, that's not happening. And so I did everything I can to get this done, get my mouse back, even though I got in trouble at work. But, I appreciate it. And just kept growing from there. And it just meant a lot for my team to get that done. The next thing.
Great. Well, it was awesome because when he got his mouse pad, he's like, man, everybody in my team's getting the mouse pad, right? So I see why you got everybody in your team to get that mouse pad. You know what I'm saying? Because you you did it and you experienced it and you felt it and you got it and you accomplished it, and you're like, everybody's gonna get that same feeling I got. So that was awesome.
Wednesday night, when you brought all of your people, your mom and everybody, Cindy was with me. Tony's kidding me.
That's a good
She was
story.
eating.
I don't know if you heard.
She was whispering, but trying to scream it out, you know. But
In a positive, so we're creating one of these pillars. We celebrate others' victories as though they're our own. Why? Because there's nothing different. This isn't the magic. There's an energy and enthusiasm to be able to apply this. Yes.
Well, and the cool thing is that with the carne asada, we don't have to do any other contests. It's like, that's our contest.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what we do. Like, and so it's easy to focus on. It's easy to get your mind around it. It has a purpose. Everything is interconnected, and it's as lean as it can possibly be and infinitely duplicatable.
Yeah.
And when you do your own, it doesn't have to be a carne asada. Whatever your party is at that month, however you want it to be, that's where the creativity can come in, and that's awesome.
Right. We'll do our September carne asada might not be a carne asada.
Right. Yeah.
It might be when you qualify in September, you come in October, right? Our October carne asada contest probably won't be a carne asada contest. Does anyone know what our October carne asada contest might be?
Halloween.
Our Halloween party.
Yeah.
Right? We're in our new house, we go through, we're gonna scare the hell out of the twins, right?
This Halloween for the kids.
No. So
Get the kids out.
right? So yeah, we have the flexibility and the freedoms to be able to do that. But it's about, and guys, getting people excited about something starts with you being excited about it. See, what Tony didn't do was sit down and go, okay. So now what Brett did to me was he sat down and he made sure that I did it. Tony's like, dude, we got a meeting tomorrow night. We want to be able to give you this slide, right? You want to get your mouse pad, right? You want to get he's like, what mouse pad? I'm like, yeah, when you finish your hours, we give you, but we had that conversation. He's like, wait, so if I finish my hours before the meeting, then you're going to give me a mouse pad at the meeting? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to finish the hours. And he got enthusiastic and excited about it. So now when he talks to everybody, he's like, Mom, you got to finish your hours of quizzes. You're coming back to the meeting this week. We want to make sure you get your mouse pad, right? He's carrying, right? Was he driving you nuts, right? He's like, you got to get him up, right? But it worked, didn't it? Right? It got you to want to, right? And we want to create the space where you feel good. You're like, okay, I'm accomplishing something. We're moving things forward. Hold on for a second.
so she feels challenged. Secretly challenged.
Guess what I'll be doing this week when Grace is here and your mom's here and Wendy's? I'm like, okay, so Santa, what size are you? So look, so this is your player shirt. So what size are you? What are you gonna do? We want to make sure we got the right size for you to be able to. Like as soon as you pass your test, you get your player shirt. Right? It's an opportunity to be able to go through and be able to create. You know, we'll do something like that that's going on, and so as we get a bunch of people that are fighting to get their player shirts, right? So it's like, oh, you're finishing your hours. We got to get your mouse pad, right? So we start creating that experience, right? We leverage our tools, right? You get $150,000 in assets, you get your asset builder shirt, right? You make $1,000, you get your comma club, right? I got to put a qualification, and quantification on the starter, right? But when you're a starter, you get your starter shirt, right? We'll start putting all this stuff together, right? But we know, who knows what's a starter? Just so that we're starting, what's a starter? Visually, what is a starter? There's lines that look like this.
Player with player.
It's a player with players. So I got a question. Who's the closest person in the room to becoming a starter?
Right there.
Who's the closest person in the room?
Oh,
Tony.
oh, shoot.
Tony.
Emma, Grace, Wendy, his mom, Irene, Walter, right? They start passing their tests as they start doing it. The 21-year-old that's been here 3 weeks is going to walk in with a starter shirt, learning from everyone that's been here before. So we're going to put, right, there's a volume thing, and I got to put my head around how we're going to quantify that so that there's a thing. But those are there.
Because we never had some.
right? So we start putting these things in alignment, leveraging our tools. Is this making sense? Okay, so a couple of things. One, everyone, piece of paper, write this down, please. Or whatever, right? Okay, well, I'm gonna talk, but I'll tell you the exact sentence. But, so, you know, Robin Forever has said, everyone in her life knows that she's a startup lawyer. If they run into anybody who's building a company or starting a company, they're like, you've got to talk to my friend Robin. She's phenomenal at, right, working with. Everyone knows that that's what she does. And we've been for the last year going, what do we do? We're building these advocates, but what do we actually do? Like, what can we tell them so that they know who we're looking for? And so one of the things that we want to get, I think we dialed in the sentence pretty well. And so this is one of those things that you want to know incredibly well. Like, Alvina did a great job, but she's up here. It's like, if we know anyone that needs products or the business, like, that's a good point, but that's not the language that's going to help somebody get, right? We're really looking, if anyone needs a game plan to get financially free, or a path to get financially, or a game path to get financially secure, or a path to get financially free, that's what you do. If anyone, so this is what right now, if anyone needs a game plan to get financially secure, or a path to get financially free. In the next year, we want everybody in your hot, warm, lukewarm scout team knowing that sentence. We want them on a lookout for anyone who needs a game plan to get financially secure, or a path to get financially free. But if you know 1,000 people and they all know that you are the conduit, you are the access path to someone getting financially secure or free, and they get into a conversation and they're like, God, I need to make more money, things are tight. And they go, I know who you need to talk to. You need to talk to Wendy. She's got a path to getting people financially free. I don't know if what she's doing is what you should do, but you got to know this lady. Does that make sense? We want everyone in our world, starting with you, to know what it is you do. You provide access to a path of financial freedom through the business and a game plan to financial security through the financial needs analysis. Does that make sense? Here's my goal. I would really love next Saturday for everyone in the room to have said that thing to themselves 3,000 times so that they're not stumbling on it. Right? Not 9 million other things. That's it. We got it, because you can't transfer that if you don't know it and if you're searching for it. That's what we do. Everything we do is about providing access to a game plan to help families get financially secure. Right? When we left Caesar and his wife, my conversation was, look, we're not able to do the retirement man, but you got to call us. We got it. Like, I went after we closed, after we got everything done, I went on him a little bit about needing to make sure that the retirement. No one does that. He's like, well, can I start sooner? Absolutely, we can start now. That's our job. Why? Because I'm emotionally invested in helping his family get financially secure.
And he even mentioned that at the end. He says, I really wanted to start some treatment. No, you will. Let's get whatever happens here first.
They just don't have the money.
Yeah.
Right? We got to create that. Does that make sense? So this is where things go. So I want to make sure that we've got that. Okay. Last thing, and then we're going to finish. Is today helping?
Yes.
Okay. So I am going to, in the next week or so, I am going to do each of these sections by themselves. I'll do a video of each of the sections. So we'll have the Rule 72. It'll be an independent story. We'll have dollar cost averaging as an independent story. And we'll have the theory of decreasing responsibility and plan A, plan B as an independent story, and then we'll have the presentation. So my goal by the end of August is to have this entire thing modularized out so people can start learning. Okay, here's a second sentence that I need you to learn. Word for word. I'll take my time to write this down. You have to know this sentence. If we could put together a game plan that gives you the short-term protection you need and the long-term security you want for the, draw a line, a month that you said is there any reason you wouldn't let me help? If we could put together a program that gives you the short-term protection you need and the long-term security that you want for the $200 a month that you said, is there any reason you wouldn't let me help? You could also say, is there any reason you wouldn't want to get started? Any reason you wouldn't want to do that? I don't care what your final tweet sentences. Two things. One, this is our final closing question on business. Now, I know that we talk about the fact that we're creating allies and advocates and that we're creating the space and that we're creating this opportunity, and all of that is true. Most people like stalling. Most people don't like change. And most people, their favorite answer, they as good as things are, they're like, I'll worry about it later. We all put stuff off, don't we? We have to make sure that when we're communicating with people, we're putting them in the best position to be successful. Two things. One, that answer is what you do business on. We're going to learn all the stuff. We're going to be practicing. We're going to spend a lot of time on the presentation and the conversation on how to do business and how to get somebody started. But that's those two sentences that I just did will pay you whatever amount of money you want to make here. One will be for your allies and advocates to have a clear picture of what you do, and one will be for the clients to give them a clear opportunity to move forward. You have to know them both verbatim. You have to know them both word for word, and you have to know them upside down, backwards, and forwards. There just is no other way around it. The longer you take to learn those two sentences, the less priority your business is. These aren't winging words. I learned that phrase in 1996. I've closed every sale since then. Why? Because it allows you to have a conversation. It allows you to confront the idea before you confront the numbers. If you don't get the yes to that answer, now you're going in and selling insurance. Do any of you want to be an insurance salesman? No. When you talk about the short-term protection they need, the long-term security that they want for the money that they said, if we can make this picture happen, is there any reason that you wouldn't let me help you? When they say, yeah, no, if you can make this happen, I'll do it. Now the F&A illustrates how we're going to do this. All the F&A does is illustrate how. We need them to say, yes, we want to move forward first. Does that make sense? Know it in Spanish, Camacho. I'm dead serious. Translated frontwards, backwards, backwards, frontwards. Say it to dogs. Video record yourself. Both of them. Now, we won't do a tremendous, we're not gonna break out Tom Hopkins, but there's a couple things as notes. One, after you ask your final closing question, whether it's on the business, whether it's to come to a meeting, whether it's to do business, I don't care. I love you, young lady, but I almost killed you. You know why? Because I didn't teach you this yet. And I'm like, oh, I have to teach you this. When you ask your final closing question, what do you have to do?
Shut up.
Shut up! And I don't mean shut up to you, but shut up. The first person who talks after you ask the final closing question owns it. If we could put together a program to give you the short-term protection you need and the long-term security that you want for the $200 a month that you said, any reason that you wouldn't want to get started with that right away? I mean, we could really, no, you're done. You're done. It can't be. You're done. Give somebody the time to process the information. It's a little uncomfortable. Sometimes it's a lot uncomfortable. Sometimes it's thoroughly enjoyable. You saw me, and he went, sure. And then Evita's like, let me translate it. And then she translated it, and then she went on. And I'm like, that's not translating. I know what translating means. Now you're trying to make feel better. And alleviating pressure does not solve somebody's problem. Does this make sense? We're asking people to shift their life. They have to be confronted. Now, you can confront without being confrontational. You don't want to be rude. We don't want to be salesy. None of that. You become salesy after you start talking there, because now you're trying to convince. If you believe this, which I do, the value of the theory of responsibility, protection in the short term because we don't have any money saved. Wendy, as we get older, if you have $300,000 of insurance, if at 60 you have $500,000 in cash, do you still need $300,000 of insurance? No, the insurance goes away. Why do we need $300,000 of insurance if we have $500,000 in cash, no kids depending upon our income, and no debt? Do we need to pay for insurance anymore? No. We need to right now because there's people depending upon us, and we don't have any money saved. If you had $1 million today, would you need the insurance? No, because if you died, your family gets the $1 million. Does that make sense? Short-term protection, long-term security, the insurance goes away, replaced with cash for the money that you set. If you can set aside $300 a month and we can make that picture happen, would you let me help you make that picture happen? Yes. Great. Let me show you how we're going to make that picture happen. Let me show you how we're going to make that picture happen. That's the financial needs analysis. Does this make sense? I'm kind of excited. It's been 5 years since I've taught this. Like, we have not taught this. We have not had this fast 10-minute conversation in over 5 years.
Just, I think, today's meeting.
Yeah, the whole meeting, right? Like we're live on this stuff, man. We are going, right? And we're gonna have a bunch of this stuff. Remember, here's another one little thing that we got to go through. And I don't want to inundate. This will be my last one, but I just want to. And you don't have to write this down, but I need you to feel it. If you say it, they doubt it. If they say it, it's true. If you say it, they doubt it. If they say it, it's true. If you die, your family's screwed. No, they're fine. If I died, my family would they'd be okay. They'd go in and move with their family. If something, God forbid, happened, how long of the money you have saved? Make sure your family's okay. The average answer is someone for 4 minutes and 4 days. So no, we don't have any money saved. Well, that's why we need to protect it. Dude, your job doesn't pay you enough money. Man, you got to do this, man. Your job, you're never going to get rich. You're never going to get free at your job. Are you blessed to save all the money you'd like to be able to save to be able to make your goals and dreams come true? If you say it, they doubt it. If they say it, it's true. You job, and Alphabeta did a great job, become a professional question asker. So we'll get more into all of this other stuff, but you kind of see how all these things are going to come together, right? It's practice, repetition, repetition. I'll break down, so we'll have each of these so you know exactly how to do it, put in the time. I'm telling you though, guys, we're going to align our compensation with the effort we put in, right? You get people here on Wednesday night. Guess what? We're going to start coming back on Saturday. We're going to get them in the school. We're going to get them there, right? We're going to create. You're going to get a license. We get a license, we're going to go see their top 10. And here's the thing. If we don't get them to Wednesday night, then we can't get them Saturday. If we can't get them Saturday, we're not going to get them to take a pass their test. They don't take a pass their test. Even if they do take a pass their test and don't come on Saturday, it's going to be harder to get their top 10 in place because they're not experienced. So it's all of these pieces come together. Right? Leverage all the tools we possibly can. So, thank you all for sharing. I really, really appreciate. I think we're in a very, very special place. I'm incredibly excited. Look, guys, $500. What's your plan? Call me, talk to me. What's your plan? Don't take it for granted. It's the 8. It's 8/8. It's going to be 8/20 tomorrow. It's going to be 8/20 tomorrow. We don't want to look up and not have you invited to the first carne asada. Right? It's the very, 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 very first one. Can I have those hot tamales for a second? Okay, Data didn't put the time on. So that's the first one. There's only going to be one first carne asada. Only one first. There's only going to be one first. You gonna be there? You gonna have your people there? What's that? And it's good too. I can barbecue. So, guys, I love you. I'm proud of you. And we got this thing. We're gonna practice. Oh, for those of you guys that weren't here last week, we tried this again because we really like the content. So at the end of a meeting, I'm gonna say team access, and the team says explode. Right? So I'm gonna be like team access, and then explode. So like when the meeting is over, just the meeting only on Saturdays, just kind of go through and we'll do some different things. So like the meeting, so man, we got to do this thing. We got to get this thing going. Y'all excited? All right, team access. Explode. All right, love y'all. We'll get it. It's getting there. It's getting there. Step by step.
If I could, I would have exploded every day.
Oh man, oh man, oh man.